Hey folks, welcome back to Mark Kelly Farm. If you've never been here before, my name's Mark, and I'm excited because it's that time of year again, and I know a lot of you get excited for it too. It's time for our yearly Christmas candy video. We've got some really good stuff for you this year. We're going to try some old favorites and some of our regular stuff also here this year. So stick around. We're going to get after it. As you can see, we've got a whole bunch of ingredients here. The first thing we're going to make is what's called a penuche fudge. It's an old-time recipe. It's made with brown sugar, so let's get with it. Get yourself at least a 3-quart heavy-bottom saucepan. We've got 1 cup of light brown sugar to start. Next is 2 cups just regular old white sugar. Next thing is 1 cup, 8 ounces of whole milk. You're going to stir this to combine it and bring it to a boil over medium-high heat. And then we're going to put it to a simmer. And we'll put in our candy thermometer here. And we'll cook it to the soft ball stage, which is 236 degrees Fahrenheit. But we'll go over that again. You can see we're starting to boil here. So we're going to put the lid on. And once this lid steams up, we're going to wait about 5 minutes and we'll take the lid back off. What the lid does is it takes any stray sugar crystals that are on the side of the pot. When the condensation rolls down the side of the pot, takes it down into the mix. So it helps avoid crystallizing later because you don't want grainy, gritty fudge. Now you'll see the mixture start coming up in the pot. So before it boils over, you want to turn your fire down just to a simmer. So we've got our candy thermometer in there now. Remember, we're looking for 236 degrees, which is the soft ball state. And then we just turn the fire off. No stirring during this. While we are waiting for our fudge mixture to come to temp, get yourself an 8x8 casserole dish or whatever you like and butter it real generously. Our temperature is finally starting to creep up. When you first start, it'll hang at 212 degrees for a while because that's what water boils at. But as more and more water boils out of this mixture, the hotter the mixture will get. So that's what determines how hard sugar will be when it's cooled, is how much moisture is left in the mix. So 236 is our softball stage. That's the set amount of moisture in a sugar solution. The hotter the sugar gets, the harder it will be when it's cool. Well, we've reached our 236 degree range. So off the fire it goes. I'm going to put it over here onto the center portion. Now into our mix goes 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter and a teaspoon and a half of pure vanilla extract. But you're not going to stir it. Just leave it alone. We're going to let this cool off. So you need to have at the ready a good sturdy spoon and a cup of chopped nuts, whether you want walnuts, pecans, almonds, whatever you want. Have those ready to go. Now we're letting this mixture cool down to 110 degrees before we stir it. So we'll be back when that happens. Okay, we're at 110 degrees. Out comes the thermometer. And then we're going to start giving this stuff a stir. And we want to stir it until everything in here is incorporated. Remember, we threw the butter and the vanilla in there last. And then right before we throw it in our pan, we're going to throw our nuts in there. Okay, it's getting nice and thick. Got our nuts stirred in there. So now we're going to go into our pan. Now get a little butter on your fingers. And you're just going to press it into the pan. Stuff smells amazing. Alright, now we just let that cool completely. Now with that recipe done and cooling, we're going to start our peanut butter Fritos candy. Yummy stuff. Let's do it. So first thing you want to do is get a baking sheet lined with parchment. And then we've got our 3-quart pot here again. And in this pot we're going to put a cup of light corn syrup. For our thick ingredients we use our Wonder Cup. There you go. And then it just squeezes out of there just like that. Love it. Next item is 1 cup regular sugar, plain old granulated. And then 1 cup of creamy peanut butter. We're using our Wonder Cup again. And just scrape that off. So we're going to turn the fire on underneath our pot, medium heat, and stir that up until it just begins to boil. You can see our mixture here is beginning to boil. So we're going to turn the fire off. We've got 14 ounces of Fritos, original flavor Fritos. And we're pouring this mixture right over the top. If you cook this mixture in a big enough pot, you could just dump the Fritos in. But we're just going to do it in a mixing bowl. And then we're going to fold this together till everything's combined. Start folding. So now that everything's mixed, I take my little disher here and then just dish little piles of these out on the parchment, because we don't want them too terribly big. And we'll continue doing that until we got them all out. Just little clusters. There is all of our peanut butter Frito candy. Now if you don't have a disher, you can just put it all out on this cookie sheet here and just smash it all down into one giant mass, and then you can cut it later. These are not done, however. We've got more to do on these. So in our double boiler here, we have a bag of semi-sweet chocolate chips. We're going to melt them. Now if you don't want to do these in a double boiler, put them in a microwave safe bowl. 30 seconds at a time on high in the microwave until they get the right consistency, stirring them in between intervals, and it's a little quicker. Now that our chocolate is fairly melted, we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, and that'll help it run a little bit better. Alright, see how that's changed the consistency quite a bit? So now it'll run. Now you just take a fork, get a little chocolate on your fork, put a little drizzle. While the chocolate's still liquid, I put a few Christmas sprinkles on there, the red and the green, make them look a little more festive. There's our peanut butter Frito candy, all done. Got to come to room temperature. You can see our penuche fudge over here is hardening. Still got to harden a little bit around the edges. See how it's getting lighter in color. Okay, on to the next recipe, pecan pie bark. Let's go. We are starting with our baking sheet with parchment and 18 graham crackers. And then we're going to go back using our same pot again. Want to preheat our oven to 350 degrees. The first thing into our pot is 2 sticks or 1 cup of unsalted butter. Next is 1 cup of brown sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of our good Redmond salt. Next is 2 cups of chopped pecans, okay, we got the fire on about medium heat. We're going to melt all this together, and then we're going to bring it to a boil. And then once it boils, we're going to boil it for 2 minutes exactly. And then we're going to dump in a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, stir it up real good, and then we'll come over here and dump it over all these graham crackers and spread it around real good. Okay, there's our 2 minutes. So off with the heat, in with our vanilla, and then immediately onto our graham crackers. I like going down the seams first, so it kind of glues everything together. Okay, there's our graham crackers all covered. So we're going to go into our preheated oven for 10 minutes. That's going to get all bubbly and come up to temperature so it'll harden. So let's set the timer. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. See how everything's all bubbly in there? Ran over the side of the pan. So we let that cool to room temperature and we break it up, and that recipe's done. Now our next recipe is butter toffee pretzels. And we need the oven for that as well at 350, so we'll just leave that on. We've got a bigger pan out because we need it. We have 1 stick of salted butter, or 1/2 cup, and a full cup of dark brown sugar. Now to that we're going to add 1 teaspoon of coarse sea salt. About like that. That's what we're using there. Okay, we're ready to go. We're going to turn this on medium heat. And then we have a teaspoon of vanilla over here ready to go, and 4 cups of miniature pretzels and another baking sheet lined with parchment. Alright, you'll get to a point where the butter and the sugar come together. When the sugar's all melted, you don't want to see any grains of sugar. So this looks good right here. Going to add the vanilla, and then we're going to add the pretzels. We're going to turn the fire off, and we're going to fold in these pretzels until they're completely coated with our mixture. You want to keep stirring until there's no more of the sugar mixture left in the bottom. It's all stuck to the pretzels like that. There'll come a point to where that'll happen, and then we're ready to go in on the parchment sheet. Okay, try to spread the pretzels out as thin a layer as you can. And then they go in the oven for 10 minutes as well. And they'll get all bubbly and crispy. 10 minutes is up. Pull our pretzels out. There's our butter toffee pretzels. Now after you take them out of the oven, let them cool just a little bit. Give them a stir. All those little toffee bits will break up and kind of coat all the pretzels. And then all you got to do is let these cool off. They've got the little toffee all over them. Super yummy. Okay, next recipe, coconut balls. All right, in your food processor or blender with multiple blades, we have a Ninja blender here. You want 1.5 cups of sweetened coconut. If you don't have sweetened coconut, you can add like 3 tablespoons of maple syrup or honey just to sweeten it up a little bit. And then we're going to go get 3 tablespoons of coconut oil to put in here as well. Got a little tiny Wonder cup for measuring tablespoons. That's 2 tablespoons there. We'll do 1 more. Quarter teaspoon of vanilla extract. And about 1/8 of a teaspoon of kosher salt. Then we're going to take that for a good spin. Alright, had to shake it around a little bit, but we got it cut up. You can see what it looks like in there, it's pretty fine. Okay, you take that mixture, I scoop it up in our little number 40 disher and make perfect little balls with them. I'll show them to you over here. That's what they look like. The recipe makes 10 and we need 40, so we need to make 3 more recipes. Well, we ended up with 41 of our little snowballs here. So these are going to go down in the freezer while we make another couple recipes, and then we'll finish these off. So the next recipe we're going to start on is our O. Henry bars. So we'll get everything together for that. So for that, we're going back with our double boiler again. If you don't want to do it with a double boiler, you can do it in the microwave. So we're taking a bag of semi-sweet, a bag of butterscotch, and a bag of Reese's. We're going to put those in there, combine them, and melt them. If you've got a microwave-safe bowl, microwave on high for 3 minutes, and then we're gonna melt it down on here though. Got our chips stirred up, got the heat going, got yet another parchment lined cookie sheet. So we'll come back when these are melted. You can see we're just about there. I like to go to where you can't see any chips anymore. Now if you were doing this in the microwave, it would be 3 minutes on high. And then you would let it cool for 5 minutes. And then dump in 2 cups Rice Krispies and a small bag of mini marshmallows. We've got to go just a hair more here. We're almost there. Okay, we've got the fire off. And we're ready to go. Good enough. So because we didn't do it in the microwave, it's not near as hot as when it comes out of the microwave. Usually you want to wait so you don't melt your marshmallows, but we're fine. Marshmallows don't want to come out of the bag. Break these up a little bit. So you want to stir this mixture until you don't see any more white of the marshmallows. So we're just going to start folding this in. Okay, so you can see how all the white is gone. So now we're going to come over here on the parchment and dump it right on there. Try to do it in kind of a rectangular shape here. Now this candy here, I can't go a Christmas without making it because it's absolutely the crowd favorite. Everybody loves these. That and the next recipe we're going to do as well. They are gotta have it. I get in trouble if I don't make this. Okay, so now I hold on to the paper here and just kind of make that rectangle go out a little wider, just roughly. And then I'll spin it around and do the same thing, holding on to the paper on this side. So now you get another piece of parchment on top and another baking sheet, and just kind of smash it down, flatten it out like that, and that's all there is to it, and let it cool just like that. Okay, one of the final things we're going to do before we finish up everything is we're going to go ahead and make our English toffee. So to start this recipe, you need almonds. I usually start out with 2 cups of almonds, and I'll put them in the food processor and pulse it a few times. And then I strain them out with my spider. I just shake them out, and then I put the big pieces in here. And what you want to end up with is about 1 cup of your fine almonds and about 1/2 cup of your coarse almonds. Put 1/2 cup of this back into this, so you end up with about 1/2 cup or more of this fine stuff for the top, and this stuff will go inside the toffee. So now we have our mixed stuff here and all of our fine stuff here. Fine stuff gets set aside, mixed stuff's over here. We've got our 3-quart saucepan back. We've got 4 sticks of butter, salted, unsalted. I've gone both ways, doesn't really matter. I've actually got both here in the pot because that's what I have open. And then 2 cups of sugar, so equal parts butter and sugar. We're going to get the fire under this, and we'll get it heated up. Alright, as soon as the butter is melted and we're going to start boiling, lid goes on. Same reason, we don't want this to crystallize. We want the boiling water to evap down the sides, drag all that sugar down into the mix. Okay, it's boiled for 5 minutes, so off comes the lid. In goes the thermometer. Now this mixture's got to go to 285 degrees. We're about 250 degrees, so I'm going to take our coarse almonds mixed with our fine almonds, and we're going to sprinkle them in here. Kind of let them ride on top a little bit. Alright, we've reached 285. So there we go. We're going to let that cool a little bit. After it cools a little bit, you take a whole bag of semi-sweet chips, pour on the top. Try to get them in one layer. Now this hot toffee mixture is going to melt these chips. You see how they're kind of light colored now. When they all turn dark, that means they're melted and you can spread them. Now that all of our chocolate chips are dark, we can spread them. Got a little offset spatula, works the best. Then I take my spatula and just kind of tap the nuts down into the chocolate. That way you don't lose it all when you go to break it up. Chocolate glues it all down. Now we've got our toffee over here to cool. Meanwhile, remember this bowl that we were drizzling chocolate out of? I added another bag of semi-sweet chocolate in there. And our coconut balls are going to be dipped in this once this gets melted. Okay, we got our snowballs back up here, our coconut balls. We're going to dip them in our chocolate. I use these forks. I got 2 tines cut out of them. So So we can take them from in here and put them back on the cookie sheet. "41 coconut balls all done." We've got some extra chocolate here, so rather than waste it, we're going to dump some peanuts in there. Make some peanut clusters. Now the peanut clusters you just take out of here with a spoon. Put them on cookie sheets, all you got to do. Now just like that, we got some bonus candy. Well, it's getting late, so we'll see you tomorrow when we package all this stuff up. Well, good morning, folks. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. Looks like it's finally going to warm up. We're going to be in the 40s today. Snow's starting to melt. So we've got Christmas candy to package up. Got all my Christmas tins from the dollar store. They're pretty cheap and they work well for holding your candy. So we'll get these cleaned up and start packing. Cutting up our toffee first. I just go down through here with my cutter knife that we like. Cut it into about 1-inch squares. Some people just break it up into just random pieces, but I like when they stack a lot better. So we'll go through here and bust this up one way and then bust it up the other. You probably noticed we didn't put parchment on this pan because this recipe has enough butter in it to where it doesn't stick. It comes right up off the pan. So now that it's cut, you can see the pieces comes up off the pan. So now let's do some of our other stuff. Here's our O. Henry bars. Parchment peels right off of them. And then we'll cut these in the same fashion using our same knife here. Just go along the edges, about 1-inch pieces, both directions. Here's our O. Henry bars. See what they look like. Super yummy, smells wonderful even cutting them up. Here's our pecan bark, same drill. Just come through here and cut it. Here's our pecan pie bark. Now the stuff that ran off the crackers is just as good. And if you wanted to make it without the crackers, you probably could. It's a little more, not as sturdy, but it works. There's our old-fashioned penuche fudge. Got it cut up, ready to go. So all the other stuff is in individual pieces. So we're done cutting stuff up so we can start packing containers. So what I do is I just lay out all the candy around the room and grab a container and just walk around, put a couple pieces of everything in it. Well, there you go, folks. There's our Christmas tin of goodies. Everybody's going to thoroughly enjoy that stuff. So there you go, folks. Mark Kelly Farm Christmas Candy 2025. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I really love this time of year. Put some Christmas music on and just get to making some candy. Pour yourself a nice warm cup of coffee, get the kids involved. There's just nothing like it. It's a fantastic tradition to have. So get it going in your family as well. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. Hope you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. We'll see you again real soon. And thanks for joining us here at Mark Kelly Farm. Now when you're all done, take all the crumbs off of all your cookie sheets and mix them together. And that is an amazing topping to ice cream. Get you a scoop of vanilla ice cream and sprinkle that on top. All that's left is a Mark Kelly Farm sticker.